The galaxy had always told itself a comforting lie. That space was infinite. That somewhere, always, there would be room. But infinity shrinks quickly when you are running for your life. We were called the Kelleran, a nomadic species shaped by long migrations and even longer memories. Our ships were old but proud, grown from living alloys and passed down like family names. For centuries we drifted between neutral systems, trading knowledge for fuel, stories for safety. We were not warriors. We were not conquerors. We survived by being welcome, until the war followed us. It began, as most galactic catastrophes do, with someone powerful deciding that coexistence was inefficient. The Virex Dominion did not hate us. Hatred would have been easier. They simply calculated that our trade routes overlapped with their expansion vectors. Our existence was inconvenient. And so, without ceremony, they erased our safe harbors one by one. Stations burned. Moons cracked. Allies sent regrets instead of fleets. When our last sanctuary fell, we ran. Not toward a plan. Not toward hope. Toward a name whispered with uncertainty in every council chamber we passed. Earth. A death world. A gravity well too heavy for comfort. A species too new, too volatile, too emotional. Humans. Most records described them with nervous fascination. They were resilient, yes, but unpredictable. They fought among themselves with alarming frequency. Their history was a catalog of near self-destructions. And yet, they endured. We did not ask because we believed they would help. We asked because there was nowhere else left to ask. Our final transmission was simple. Stripped of dignity. Stripped of pride. This is the Kelleran fleet. We are refugees. Our children are starving. Our ships are failing. If there is mercy left in the galaxy, we ask for shelter. We send it into the void. And waited, convinced that silence would be the answer. The reply came sooner than expected. Not from a council. Not from a diplomat. But from a human voice. Tired. Steady. Real. This is Earth. We hear you. That alone was shocking. Most civilizations responded to refugee pleas with bureaucracy. Humans responded with presence. Hours later, our sensors lit up with an approaching fleet. Not sleek warships like the Virex. Not ceremonial cruisers like the old empires. These vessels were practical, scarred hulls, modular designs. Ships built to be repaired, not admired. And at their center, one massive carrier, its designation translating roughly to Haven-class mobile habitat. They had prepared for this. Before we even arrived, human commanders spoke openly on shared channels. No coded superiority. No veiled warnings. You'll be safe here, they said. We've cleared orbit. Medical teams are standing by. We don't know what you've been through, but you don't have to go through it alone anymore. Some of our elders wept. Others warned caution. This is a species that still fights wars among itself, they said. They cannot protect us from a dominion that crushed star nations. But the humans did not promise invincibility. They promised effort. They guided our fleet into a stable orbit above their blue world. Shuttles ferried our sick planet side. Their gravity was painful for some of us, but they adjusted, terraforming small zones, building adaptive habitats in record time. They did not place us in camps. They built homes. Children who had known only metal corridors stood beneath artificial skies that mimicked our lost stars. Humans learned our language, our songs, our dietary needs. And when our diplomats finally asked the obvious question, "Why are you doing this?" the answer was disarmingly simple. Because someone once helped us when we were desperate. And because letting you die wasn't an option we could live with. We believed we had found shelter. We did not yet understand that Earth had done more than open its doors. It had taken responsibility. News travels fast among the stars. Slower than light, but faster than wisdom. When word spread that Earth had accepted an entire refugee fleet, reactions were skeptical. They are naive, said the trade leagues. They are emotional, said the academies. They are painting a target on themselves, said everyone else. The Virex Dominion noticed too. To them, Earth was a minor variable. A developing species barely past its infancy. A planet with internal divisions, fragile alliances, and no unified galactic military doctrine. The idea that humans would stand between the Dominion and its quarry was amusing. Dominion observers recorded human defenses with clinical interest. Orbital platforms, functional, but few. Fleet strength, respectable for their age, insignificant compared to a Dominion armada. Allies, uncertain. The calculation was clear. Earth would fold. The question was whether it would fold quickly or after an object lesson. Human leaders received the Dominion's message shortly thereafter. A formal declaration, stripped of insult, rich with certainty. The Kelleran are assets under reclamation. Their presence in your system constitutes interference. Withdraw your protection and no harm will come to your world. The galaxy waited. This was the moment civilizations were measured, by how easily they surrendered others to save themselves. Humanity's response was not immediate. They debated, argued, protested. Their networks overflowed with fear and fury in equal measure. Economists warned of annihilation. Generals spoke of impossible odds. But in the refugee habitats, something else happened. Human civilians visited. They brought food, stories, toys made from recycled materials. They listened to our elders recount burned homes and lost worlds. And when human children asked, "Will they make you leave?" our people had no answer. Then, finally, Earth replied, not with a threat, with a statement. The Kelleran are under Earth's protection. They are not assets. They are people. If you want them, you will have to go through us. Across the galaxy, observers shook their heads. Humans had chosen defiance. Against inevitability. The Dominion fleet arrived like a closing fist. Black-hulled leviathans emerging from hyperspace, blotting out stars with disciplined precision. Each vessel carried firepower sufficient to glass continents. Panic surged through Earth's networks. And yet, human ships did not retreat. They repositioned. Civilian evacuation plans activated across Earth, but the refugee habitats were not abandoned. Human soldiers took up positions around them. Engineers reinforced shields far beyond standard safety margins. We watched this from observation decks, our hearts heavy with guilt. They were risking everything for us. The first Dominion broadcast was cold. "You are outmatched. Stand down." A human admiral responded, her voice steady despite the storm of sensor warnings. No, the first shots were not Dominion weapons. They were human, warning flares, directed energy bursts calibrated to miss, but impossible to ignore. A message written in motion. "We are serious." The Dominion answered with force. Orbital platforms vanished in blossoms of light. Human ships were torn apart, their crews evacuating even as hulls failed. Earth's defenses strained, bent, but did not break. And something unexpected happened. Human civilians volunteered, not to fight, but to support. Factories shifted overnight to war production. Medical centers expanded beyond capacity. Farmers donated reserves without being asked. Networks filled with a single message, repeated in 1,000 languages. Hold the line. We expected despair. Instead, we witnessed unity. There was one human whose name we would come to speak with reverence. Commander Elena Ward. She was not legendary, not enhanced, not born into command. She had risen through competence and stubborn refusal to quit. Her ship, the ESS Resolute, was assigned to the outer defensive arc, the most exposed position. When Dominion fire breached that sector, her orders were clear. Delay them. She knew what that meant. Her crew knew too. They did not hesitate. The Resolute maneuvered with reckless precision, placing itself between the Dominion advance and the evacuation corridors leading to the refugee habitats. Weapons overheated. Shields collapsed. Hull breaches multiplied. Still they held. When her second-in-command suggested retreat, Ward shook her head. "If they pass us," she said quietly, "they reach the civilians." So they stayed. We watched her ship on shared tactical feeds, its signature flickering like a dying star. And when the Resolute finally broke apart, its reactor detonating in a controlled burst that crippled 3 Dominion cruisers. The evacuation was complete. Every Kelleran child was safe. The Dominion paused. For the first time, their advance slowed. Not because of damage, but because of confusion. Why would a species throw away a warship? For people who were not even their own. The battle dragged on for days. Human losses mounted. But something else spread faster than fear. Stories. Footage of human medics pulling alien children from wreckage. Of engineers sealing breaches with their own bodies. Of civilians refusing evacuation until refugees were accounted for. These images reached beyond the system. Neutral worlds watched. Former allies hesitated. Even Dominion analysts began to flag anomalies. Human behavior did not match predictive models. They were not acting rationally. They were acting responsibly. A coalition began to form, not from treaties, but from conscience. Independent fleets arrived. Trade worlds sent supplies. Species who had once turned us away now stood alongside Earth. The Dominion faced something it had not anticipated, a moral front. And that, more than firepower, began to change the tide. The final engagement was brutal. Earth's skies burned. Oceans boiled at the edges. Cities endured strikes meant to break morale. They did not. Humans broadcast continuously, not propaganda, but truth. We are scared. We are hurting. But we are not backing down. Dominion commanders demanded surrender. Human leaders answered with silence. Then action. A coordinated strike, using every remaining asset, human and allied, punched through the Dominion's command vessels. Their formation fractured. Retreat orders followed. The galaxy watched the impossible unfold. A death world had stood its ground, not because it was the strongest, but because it refused to abandon the weak. The war ended not with celebration, but with exhaustion. Earth was scarred. So were we. Human cities rebuilt with alien hands beside them. Keller and engineers helped restore orbital platforms. Children grew up bilingual, their games a blend of cultures. We offered to leave. Earth refused. This is your home too, they said. Not guests. Not wards. Family. The Dominion withdrew from contested space. Their analysts rewrote doctrines. Historians argued for generations about the Earth incident. But among the people, a simpler truth spread. Humans were dangerous. Not because of their weapons, but because of what they chose to protect. Now, when refugees flee across the stars, there is a saying. If you can reach Earth, you will live. Because humanity taught the galaxy something it had forgotten. That strength is not measured by what you can take, but by who you refuse to give up. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. Outro, optional. If this story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the stars. Milky Way.